Welcome once again to Ask Rev. This is a segment that we have prepared, to answer all the questions that young people might have. And I know it's going to be a good one.
What does Rev think should be done in order to fully prepare young people for marriage so that they can be able to stand against any challenges that they encounter in marriage?
Unfortunately, we are living in a world that does not prepare us thoroughly. We are living in a world that I call a microwave, oven world. People, they expect things to happen now, the way they want it. Unfortunately, that is how we have raised our young people today, to a point that even when they get into marriage, they don't know what is patience. They don't even know what is commitment. We enter marriage with a plan B in mind, that if this thing does not work, I am jumping out of this. Listen, young people, marriage, it's a lot of work. Marriage requires commitment. Marriage requires unconditional love. If you are going to marry somebody, you need to make sure that you are totally committed to that person or to that union, which is called marriage. Unfortunately, our young people today, or even those who have gotten married, they don't honor themselves and they don't honor God. I want to say to you, it also goes with the fear of the Lord in your heart. When you fear God and when you honor the person that you married unto, let me tell you, divorce, it's not even gonna be a language of the family. Sometimes we have differences and then and there somebody just jumps quickly and to say, I want a divorce. Why a divorce instead of working, that marriage to progress so that it can be a blessing to all of us? So think twice before you get married and make sure you are well prepared, because marriage is not a child's play.
Except for marriage counseling, what role does the church play in ensuring that young people are prepared for marriage?
I believe it's not the role of the church only to prepare young people to be ready for marriage. Preparation begins at home. AmaZulu ati, isimilo anyeke usithenge. Isimilo is something oyithola ekhaya. That is character. Your character must be built right from home. When you come to church, we are also adding in what your parents have done or your family have done to you. And unfortunately, the other challenge is that we have many families where there are no fathers, it is only mothers. And most of the men, they've never seen and then the role of the father in their families. That becomes a challenge. But at the same time, that is where the church must come in and the other good men must come in to mentor men, to show them that this is how you become a man. This is how you become a husband. But in a nutshell, it is the work of the family and the work of the church and the work of the community where we need to mentor both our girls and our young men to become mature for marriage. Some of us were so blessed, when we grew up, because we had time, where we could sit with our spiritual parents, and then who are going to give us a guidance to say, this is how you live a life of marriage. And we need to do that more and more. By the way, we do have a course in our church where we can counsel young people to become, better husbands or better wives. But at the end of the day, it's a collective effort for us to become better men and better women for the sake of the future.
Looking at the various reasons why people may get a divorce, is there any divorce that is in the will of God?
Let me say to you, divorce was never in the mind of God. Divorce was never created by God, because God knows the pain of divorce, that when two people divorce, there are a lot of things that goes wrong. It is worse if they are children, and then children are going to suffer, friends are going to suffer, families are going to suffer. The very same people who are divorcing, they are going to suffer. They'll end up, having scars and wounds in their lives. So divorce was never in the plan of God. But because we are living in a fallen world, where the devil is operating, that is why you end up having a divorce. And you'd realize, even when you sit down with the people and say, why are you divorcing? You'd realize that somehow, the devil has put his hand in that marriage. Abuse was not supposed to happen in that marriage. That is why people, they end up divorcing. But as I'm saying, it was not in the plan of God. And then if people divorce and then it has just happened. It is not in the plan of God, but at the same time, I cannot say it must not happen, because there are people who are in a marriage that is full of abuse and it's full of pain. And once again, it is not the best of God that you should be in a marriage that is actually going to take your life at the end of the day. So may the good God help you and give you wisdom to deal with that situation. But remember, it was not in the plan of God.
Why does it seem so difficult for young people these days to find love and commitment to the right person? I'm constantly perplexed at how finding love seems to have become so difficult.
I think the problem that we are facing as young people is that we are living in a different world, or should I say the world of social media. Even the life that we are living, it is not a real life. We are more influenced by social media. Sometimes we even define love based on what we see on television or on social media. You look at that soap and then you want a husband who looks like so and so. Even when an ordinary man who is genuine, who is loving, comes to you, you feel this is not a true love, because you are defining love based on the influence that you have. Let me tell you, the day you begin to lower your standards, the day you begin to walk with the principles of God and pray and ask God, you don't have to find love. Love will find you. Why do you want to run and searching for love? Wait for a proper time and God will send love to you. That will be my take. But make sure that you are not influenced by what you see on the outside and define love based on how other people are interpreting love. Live your life, my dear. Live your life, my boy or my brother, and God will sustain you and then will lead you in the right path.
When coming to asking God for a life partner, we are told to write down a list of what we want them to look like and what we want them to think like. I want to know if this really does work. Is it possible to end up with the exact same person who I described in my list?
Guys, it is quite a challenge, especially when you have a lot of choices, before you. But let me tell you, in life, you must have what I call the non-negotiables. As a Christian, you need to make sure that you marry a Christian. That it is non-negotiable. So the question is, what are the non-negotiable on your list? At the same time, you need to remember that there's no one who is perfect. Sometimes you might say you want a yellow bone, and God gives you somebody who is not a yellow bone, but this person has the principles, has the things that are in your list. And here you are, you just want to lose a perfect gift just because she is not a yellow bone. So know exactly what you want. And the most important thing, take this matter to the Lord in prayer. Don't take it for granted. It is something that is going to change your life for the rest of your life. If you marry at the age of 25 and you're going to live up to the age of 75, that simply means you are taking a decision that is going to affect you for the next 50 years. So pray about it and make sure that your non-negotiable list, it is not tampered with. And then at the end of the day, you're going to live a good life. I pray that may the good God give you a wisdom to choose right. And choosing right must never be influenced by the external, material. Don't look at the things, like your car, your house. Those are not the main thing that will give you or that makes a person a wife or a husband. But it is the matter of the heart. If the person has a good heart, that person, you'll go a long way with you. Thank you once again for tuning in this program, Ask Rev. And we'll see you next week as you continue to send your questions to us. And we really enjoy this and to do this with you young people. May the good God do you good. I'll see you next time. Amen.